This video will improve your ability to collaborate and make changes in the design process as a result of working directly with CAD source files using SimXpert. As a prerequisite, you should have a basic familiarity with the SimXpert GUI, and by the end of this video you will be able to import CATIA files into SimXpert, modify design parameters of the CAD geometry, and save the CAD files with any changes in their native format. The process we will use for working with our native CATIA geometry begins with creating or opening a model in SimXpert. We will then import geometry using the File Import CATIA method, which requires a CATIA license but utilizes the native CATIA format. We'll use the model browser to access design attributes. We will change the design configuration and component location within our model. And finally, we will save the SimXpert database and its CATIA files in their native format. We are now in SimXpert and ready to import our geometry. From the File menu, we'll select Import CATIA. Again, this requires a CATIA license, but it will allow us to import our CATIA product assembly in its native format. We'll click Open, and SimXpert will begin to import the model. Once the import is complete, we should be able to see our entire landing gear assembly within SimXpert. One of the first changes we want to make is to change the number of holes in the wheels. We can do this very easily by scrolling down in the model browser to the wheel assembly. For the left rim, we'll double-click on its circular pattern attribute, which opens a property editor. If we select angular number and change this value, click Update and OK, and we can see that we've now changed the rim to have 6 holes instead of the original 5. And we can repeat this same process for the right rim as well. So we double-click on the attribute that we want to change, select it, and change the value. Click Update and OK. We can rotate our model and see that that change has been made. Another change that we'd like to make is to adjust the position of these wheels relative to the rest of our landing gear model. Assume that we need 100 millimeters more spacing between them, which we will achieve by moving each wheel assembly out by 50 millimeters. We will achieve this by moving each component of the wheel assembly. We'll start with the left rim. We'll double-click on point 1, and in the property editor, select its Y coordinate. We'll then adjust this value, click Update and OK. We'll notice that the rim has moved outward. We'll repeat this process for the right rim, the tires, and the bearings that are within the center of the rim. Once this process is complete, we can see that we've changed the configuration of our model. The next step will be to change the axle length to accommodate the new position of the wheels. To make this easier, I will right-click on this part and select Show Only to view our axle more clearly. I'll scroll up to where it's located in the model browser tree, and I'll access the properties for Pad 1. Here I will change the first and second limit length to increase the length of the axle. I click Update, and I can see that the left side of our screen has increased in length. I'll do the same for the right side. and click OK. Now you'll notice that there's no longer a hole through the center of our axle. This is because I need to update the pocket parameters as well. I'll update the first limit and the second limit, and then I can rotate my model to confirm that I still have a hole through the center of my axle, just as I did in my original model. I can now right-click and Show All in order to view my entire model. In the design, analysis, and simulation process, I might find other changes that I want to make to my model. One example might be to change this top link so that these holes continue all the way through. This can easily be done by adjusting pocket 1 of this part, its first limit, to a higher value. I can see that now I've changed this part. This could occur at any time during the design process. Once I've made the changes that I want and I want to save my model, I'll go to the File menu and select Save. SimXpert will prompt me, letting me know that any change in my native CAD geometry will also be saved, which is what I want for my CATIA files. I'll click Yes, and then enter a file name for my SimXpert database. I'll click Save, and SimXpert begins to save the files. Once complete, these files are saved in their original format with the modifications that I've made from SimXpert. If you have CATIA geometry, you can import, modify, and save the geometry in SimXpert in its native format, which eliminates translation and increases modeling efficiency.